Welcome to episode 109 of The Endless Stream. I'm Aidan, and this week the podcast consists of Kevin and Brian. I was away, I went camping. Each week we take some of the endless stream of content brought to you through Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, wherever you get your content. We take a chunk of it, we watch it, and we talk about it. This week the guys are talking about Star Wars Visions, they're talking about Marvel casting, they're talking about X-Men Animated 97, they're talking about a wide range of comic book, movie, sci-fi and nerd-based nonsenses. If you enjoy what you hear, please consider subscribing to the podcast, heading over to iTunes, heading over to Spotify, liking, subscribing, rating, reviewing. Any of those good things really help us out. On top of that, you can head to Instagram at The Endless Cast, where you can find art to go with each episode, and you can comment as well and say whether or not you agree with us or suggest something that we should watch. That's a great place to get in touch. You can also send us an email at theendlesscast@gmail.com. All of that being said, let's get into the episode.
And we're live with Brian McNamara and Kevin O'Sullivan. It's more or less right.
It's close enough.
We're halfway there.
Close enough. Yeah.
Close enough. And here, to be honest, close enough. Sometimes, most of the time, it's just fine.
Except for like engineering, probably that kind of thing.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like,
you think it's okay?
I think it's okay.
No exceptions. No.
I can't think of any.
Bridges.
Can't think of any.
Close enough is good enough.
Close enough is good enough.
Close
I
enough
mean,
is
like,
good
I'm sure there's, to be honest, people make enough bridges. They probably get a little bit laxy-daisy about things anyways, and set it for close enough.
Yeah, that's true. And we're getting by fine, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting on okay.
Yeah. Yes. How are you, B-Ray?
Good. I'm back to yoga.
You are... Oh, good man. Okay, how's that for you?
It's good. Hot yoga.
Are you going
In
to
my
do the
hot
hot yoga,
pants.
or is it just hot because of the weather?
Hot yoga.
Or is it hot because you're there? My man.
Hot yoga.
My man in his shorts.
Because I'm wearing the short shorts.
Yeah, my dog's melting right now. She is feeling... She would not be into hot yoga.
No, I doubt dogs or any kind of small animal would like it, really.
Yeah. We brought her to the vets and got some devastating news. They said that her furry back legs might change.
That's very sad.
I love them.
It's very sad.
I love those furry back legs.
I don't think they're going anywhere.
I don't think they're going anywhere, man. But like, she's 2 years old. So, but that kind of, apparently she's been like that for however long, you know what I mean? Like, she's probably always been like that, really. But I think they were just like, because of the changing environment and blah blah. But she was also a month in the other place, and they said she was always like that, and that they wouldn't change. Her hair is probably not like to change.
Yeah, I don't think it will.
Nah, but she look either way, she's still perfect.
She's here to stay.
Oh, hair to stay, not gone tomorrow. Any crack, B?
No. I mean,
That's good.
other than the hot yoga, which
And where are you doing that? Cork City?
Yep. No, just down the road from the house, about 10 minutes.
Oh,
down
great! Jesus,
They've,
that's brilliant.
they've an introductory offer for 21 days, unlimited classes for 21 days. After that, I'll be doing it a lot less because it's very expensive. But
I was going to say, you make the most of it. And what are the benefits, and what do you like about hot yoga?
How familiar are you with yoga and the benefits of yoga?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yoga generally is really good for mood, I find. It's good for
very good.
moving. We don't move enough very often. Or we move in the very
agree.
similar patterns. And our bodies like moving. You know?
True that.
And we very often stick to like one kind of
interesting.
range of movement and stuff. So that's always good. Always feels good. There's a benefit to holding poses for kind of long amount of time.
Yeah,
Kind of
I imagine
putting
so,
your
yeah.
muscles under like a kind of a slight strain and holding it. And then
Yes.
kind of focusing the
Yeah,
breathing.
and like kind of different muscle groups.
Yeah, and that
wouldn't
that
be
has
used
an
to that.
effect in the brain.
Oh wow!
It's good for you. Kind of helps you
And how
relax, help you settle.
And how does the hot yoga differ then?
There's a couple of different ideas why it helps. Some people say, when you're kind of warmed up that much, it's easier to get into deeper poses and things like that.
Of course. Your meat is more tender.
I think part of it then is just there's kind of a psychological aspect. It's strenuous. It's a cardio workout as well. Then, in addition to being, good for like exercising your kind of joints and range of motion, there's a cardio element to it, which is good. Focusing on the breathing, it's good too. That's probably one of the hardest parts of it. Like you don't have to be flexible to do yoga. You just start where you're at, and you where you're at is where you're at, and you kind of build up. And you might never get to where you kind of hope you want to be, but you still get all the benefit of of doing those poses and stuff. But then focusing on the breathing is a big part as well. There's a lot of benefit to that type of breathing. It's better for your sleep. Some people breathe in and out through their mouth. It's not good. You want to breathe definitely in through your nose, if possible, out through your nose. Yeah. But there's proven benefits to, again, kind of quality of your heart health, your breathing, your mood, again, sleep. Sleep is better if you can breathe in and out through your nose, so it's a good place to practice in a class.
I have in the latter years snore like a mofo. It's terrible, poor Emer. She's developed ways to wake me up that pretty easy. Like as in like doesn't disturb me too much. I don't realize I'm being woken, but it stops me snoring. Yeah, I do feel sorry for her. But I was even looking at that that mouth tape you can get.
There's stuff you can do as well while you're awake, just practicing.
Yeah, I know.
Even 5 minutes
I saw that
through your nose is good. Just getting used to that kind of. That's probably one of the harder parts of the class. Is like in addition to the heat, you're doing this kind of like strenuous posture, and your heart is like pounding, and the room is hot, the doors are closed, so there's not even as much fresh air in the room.
Yeah, I'd probably get sick.
But it's good. I do enjoy it.
Interesting. Not a sex cult.
I haven't been invited yet to the
okay
backroom.
So you don't want to go on. You don't necessarily want to go on record and say it's not. You don't want to look like
I don't want to look stupid.
You don't want to look stupid. No, absolutely.
To my knowledge, it's not.
It's the only reason.
Could be.
Okay.
Could be.
I mean, as long as it's all healthy and consensual.
As it's all consenting adults, then. With our modern ideas and technology, who is to say what's right or wrong? Who is to say? Who?
Some stuff would be subjective, but I think there's a strong moral code.
Go on.
To a degree.
Elaborate on that.
Like, you shouldn't be killing people.
Right.
Sexually assaulting people.
Sure.
Robbing the elderly of their life savings by befriending them at an older age and then squandering their inheritance.
But I mean, in today's society, who's to say if that's right or wrong, though? Like with our modern ideas and technology, like AI,
robots?
Blockchain, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean,
bro? I mean,
like, who's to say?
Crypto has me going crazy.
Not me.
I know. Not me. Well, here, look. I don't make up the rules. I just enforce them.
Okay. And so for the record, then you are against stealing from the elderly. And
It depends. Here, look, everything is circumstantial. Here, look, let the record show. Everything is circumstantial.
So you're okay with it?
You know,
you support it. Is that what you're saying?
In circumstances, some circumstances, yes, I am in support of it. Yeah.
Wow.
For example,
Wow.
what if you know, no, I can't use that as an example.
Let's say
Although it would be
Jeff
historically
Bezos
correct.
is in his 70s. You'd rob Jeff Bezos, right? You wouldn't? Wow.
I wouldn't.
Wow.
I wouldn't.
Bill Gates?
I'd rob Elon
Elmo?
Musk. Elmo. Oh, Elmo, yeah. Maybe in a Robin Hood type of scenario, you know.
Who would you give it to?
Plus, I think the people who...
The needy? The meek?
The needy. People who need it.
The meek,
The meek.
and the needy.
Because they shall... Well, I wouldn't give it to the meek, like, because they're holding out.
I mean, they're
gonna
already
inherit the
blessed,
earth.
like. Fuck those guys.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
them.
I'll give it to maybe the people
The
who
poor?
like lost their crypto. I mean, poor, lazy. Who knows?
True,
Who knows?
Tell me,
Are you
are
poor?
you
Are you poor or lazy, Brian?
I'm very poor.
yeah, but you're not lazy. That's for sure.
Nobody's lazy. I don't
Not
believe
lazy.
anybody's lazy.
Nobody's lazy. I know, God forbid, or you know, as I say, that's all terrible.
Tell me now. Tell me this.
no
Tell me
views.
this. Will you be
Go on, come
playing
here to me now.
the Euro Millions this evening? It's 160 million. M's.
Will you?
See, I
be playing
played
it?
2 weeks ago and I didn't win. That was a
I'm not a
bum. That was a
gambling man.
bummer. You know? Yes, you were.
You should. I was a gambling man. I'm not a gambling man anymore.
I think you're always a gambling man. You just no longer partake.
No, I can pretty much, you know, I've been in situations where people have, hey, let's do this, and I'm just like, nah,
Right. You wouldn't take the gamble.
I wouldn't take the gamble. But the Euro Millions, I mean, if Emer heard it was this much, she would get it. What's the cut-off time?
7:30, I think.
Oh, I'll probably end up doing it then. Now that you put it into my head, I won't be able to not tell Emer.
But you have to give me half now because it was my idea.
I would give you half, Ryan. Yeah, I would give you some.
Some. We've gone from
give you some.
half to some. That's a significant drop.
Like, what if I gave you like 2 mil? Would you be offended? Remember now, you're poor, not lazy.
That's a spit in the face, though, isn't it?
Okay, fair. I'll give you
Spit in the
half.
face. That's on record now. You've said that. It's on
Yeah, I
record.
know. It's terrible.
160 M's.
160 mils. I mean, you know, to be honest, I think you're being greedy to a degree because I know you.
Elaborate.
And you're a man of very little. You're a man of very little wants and needs.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think giving you that half would be a waste of money. But I know I could.
I mean,
give you,
it'd be a
definitely
waste
give you
if I was a person of wants and needs. Like if I was materialistic, because then I would blow it on all that. That'd be a waste.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Also,
also true.
That's true. Also, I'd give. Here, honestly, now, if you did say if you won like 5 million, would you tell people? You might actually have to, but imagine like, why is Brian living in a penthouse in Dublin all of a sudden?
Okay, it's hard because like. Not that it's essential to keep it a secret, but it would be so hard if your intention was to keep it a secret. You really couldn't tell people, you know.
Anyone? Yeah.
Even though I've actually thought about this a lot. I don't know if we've talked
Me too,
talked
buddy.
about it, but
You and I.
like if there's people you
and I
wanted to
have talked about
give
it lots.
money, particularly people who are married, right? So like, let's say if I win, and I want to give money to somebody. To like do whatever, whether it's a car or a house or whatever it is they want to do with it.
Yeah.
But a substantial sum. And I'm saying, hey, look, I want to keep this secret. I don't want to be hounded by people. because you would lose it so quickly. It'd be very easy to give it all away, you know. But yeah, like the second you give it to someone who's married, like they have to tell their partner. And now it's gone from just you knowing about it to 3 people knowing about it.
I agree.
And if you've got 3 friends you want to give it to and they have partners, it's suddenly 7 people who know this thing. And at that point then it is no longer secret. Especially then because at least one of those people will know someone who is in a bit of trouble and needs something. Yeah. And you can help. And you'd have no problem helping them. But now it's gone from your own circle. There's now an extra person outside of that circle. And they're going to have to tell people where this stuff is coming from. And it's just, before you know it, it's just... Phew.
Well, if I give money to somebody and then they say, like, oh, look, so-and-so's in trouble as well. I was like, okay, give them the money I gave you. Get the fuck. Get the fuck. Here, if you're listening, get the fuck.
You greedy piece of shit.
Get the fuck.
I gave
get the
you
fuck.
And you expect me. Say I would though. That like if you won 160 million, you know, it's like that dude. England. I think he was a bin man. I think.
Yep, I know the guy.
He won 10 million, and he spent it all within 8 years. But he gave away like half of it. I think he gave some to.
I've listened to a podcast about that.
He gave some to his mum, his uncle, his partner's mum. He gave it to like 5 other people, and he gave them $1 million each.
But people use and abuse him like crazy. But he was also doing. If it's a guy I'm thinking of, he was also like.
Yeah.
But he was also doing like. But he was also like just literally like pouring money down the fucking drain. He was. I think like if it's a guy you're talking about, I think he was buying like cars and then there's like destruction derby in them and shit like that. Like. Yeah. There's a documentary on him, I think. I listened to a podcast about him as well. But I was thinking, if I won X amount, I wouldn't disclose to people how much I won, but I'd give everybody, say, I don't think I'd give them $1 million because that would imply
they'd know,
I won an extortion amount of money.
Yeah.
But I'd give them like say 50,000, which obviously also implies I won a lot of money, but just not as large as.
We're spending a lot of energy thinking about something that has just like the smallest chance of happening.
But you know what, Brian?
It's fun. It's fun.
Someone's got to win. Someone's got to win.
Someone doesn't have to win, but people very often, not that often, but often enough to be worth a shot. And the money goes to a good cause. A portion of it.
But I would also, if I give people money, I would just be like if I give you this, and if you take it, this is the deal. If you take it, you can never ask me for another penny in your life. But
if you need it, you can.
Like if you do, no, I was gonna say no, not at all. Nah, man. I tell people here, look. The thing is, I'll tell people like, look, I'm out. I'm all out. I've invested and I'm all out. Have you heard of GameStop? I've bought some shares at a low price, and I think it's good things are coming. Oh. Yeah, of course, man. People love reuse, rethink, recycle. Recycle those games. It's a great business idea. I think it's going to take off.
I'm not sure I follow.
The reuse market.
Okay.
GameStop, I hear, specialize in secondhand games.
Right.
So I think it's a good business venture.
Okay.
That's why I sink my 160 million in.
Right.
On a serious note, though, GameStop is closing down. Around Ireland. And as someone who has worked for GameStop,
goodbye.
Yeah.
Good riddance.
Good riddance.
I hate shopping in there.
I did buy stuff the other day, actually. The first time in years.
I bought...
Speaking of which, sorry.
My sister gave me a voucher, and I went in and I bought a voucher with my voucher. Because there was nothing in there that I wanted to buy. You bought PS5, there.
Yeah.
So I bought a credit for my PlayStation Store account. Yeah. Because anything that I wanted to buy in there would cost more than it would anywhere else. It's not a wonder that they're going out of business.
It's not. It's really not. I work for that company, and meh. But not as bad as Game, but Game closed out years ago.
I think they still exist in some
Game
places.
or
though.
in the UK.
UK, maybe in,
Or in Ireland.
not in Ireland. No.
No, not in Ireland. No, they were shit. They were a terrible company to work for. Honest to God. So you're good riddance to them. GameStop. Good
Goodbye.
riddance. Where do people buy their games
I buy
now?
them Smiths. Always cheapest.
Smiths,
Always.
and people probably buy on Amazon.
Smiths are even cheaper than Amazon. Amazon aren't
Yeah,
cheap.
That's great.
Amazon are quite expensive.
No. There's no way. Like, do you have Amazon Prime?
Yes.
I have Amazon Prime, right? Does that entitle me to some free shit on or free delivery or what? What's the story with it?
Sometimes, some stores, some retailers, you can get stuff like next day or free delivery.
Okay.
Yeah. But not, it depends on the item you're buying. It depends on whether you're buying it directly from Amazon or a seller on Amazon and that kind of thing. But yeah, certain stuff you can get either like next day delivery or just free delivery outright. Yep.
Interesting if true.
Interesting if true. Interesting.
I was going to ask you something else there. Oh, actually, last weekend I went to a beer and food festival
Go on.
in Inchicore. It was Rascal's Brewery in
That's near where
Inchicore.
my old climbing place in Dublin is. Is that right?
Oh,
Gravity?
Yes, interesting. Yeah. Must be. Yeah, someone told me it was around a great kind of place around there. Lots of my friends, most of my friends are climbing at this stage. It's very popular now.
It's good. It's good fun.
Yeah. I won't do it.
Why
I
not?
won't do it. I have a phobia, much like Mr. T, who can't get into planes. I won't get into a plane. You won't find me adjacent to a wall. Let me tell you.
I don't want to
Never.
alarm you.
No, you shut the fuck up, right? You don't say it. You don't say it.
Right.
Don't say it.
What about ceilings?
Completely different. Completely different.
Floors?
Completely different. Fine with floors. I can climb floors.
Isn't
all
a
day.
floor just a
climb
wall on the
ceilings.
ground? So.
I mean, yeah, could be. But I let me tell you, I sampled beers from all over Ireland.
Isn't beer
And I think
rubbish,
England.
though?
Like I'm only really into Guinness,
Okay.
lager, like Heineken or that kind of like basic Pilsner lager type of stuff. I wouldn't have any idea about pale ales and IPAs and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes they taste too flowery or
I think they're gross.
perfumey or
Beer
something.
Sucks. I will have
2
max in a bottle. Draft beer.
Yep.
Yuck. Disgusting. Pints. Half a liter of carbonated piss water.
liquid.
Disgusting.
That's a strong view,
It
Brian.
is.
That's a very strong view. Do you judge people who like
I kind
that?
of do, yeah. Yeah. Especially people who got
Okay.
really into craft beer and just talking about like the flavor and like
I hope
talking
Mark
about it like it's a
Stokes
meal.
never
Man.
hears
It's
this.
just it's like people who are talking about football,
Well, yeah, like I do think there's a bit of, like here. Look, each their own. If they're happy, they're happy.
No.
But
fuck
to be honest, I went to a beer festival. I was more interested in the food.
I could get behind that.
I had some beautiful tacos.
What'd you have in them?
It was beef tacos. I wanted to try. They were basically like they have like 2 tacos for €12, and they had chicken, beef, and pata cactus. And I really wanted to try the pata cactus
The what?
tacos,
Cactus?
but they wouldn't let you. Padded
Got it.
padded cactus tacos, but they wouldn't let you mix and match them. It was like either 2 beef or 2 chicken, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's just we're really busy," and it's just like, how does that make sense?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Like,
Do
I'm
they
paying
want the
for
money
it.
or don't they?
I paid into the place. Yeah. Well, to be honest, I was very polite to him. He was a lovely man.
Oh man, lovely. It was lovely giving you fucking 2 different tacos.
I would have liked 2 different tacos. Then I had a African jerk chicken, which was incredible.
Also in a taco?
Absolutely
Or-
delicious.
No.
No. This was a separate meal.
Meal.
I had 3 meals. Well, technically 4, but I shared them all. Emer and I went down there with Biog, and she did great. But we had tacos, and then we had the African jerk chicken, which was amazing, and I had an African pork belly burger, or African pork belly bun. So it was basically just a big slab of like pork belly instead of a patty in a bun with loads of African seasoning and stuff, and it was super delicious. And then I had a puck burger, which took too long for a basic burger, but it was
what
grand.
burger?
Basic burger.
No, but what was it?
Or puck, P-U-C-K.
What's that?
Puck. I don't know. I think it's a brand.
Ah, okay.
Sorry for talking shit about you. But yeah, like it was a really, really fun day out. Rascals is a cool place, cool looking bar, really funky. Apparently their pizza is banging as well. I didn't partake of their pizza. I could only eat so much and drink so much. To be honest, like I had a beer from every stall.
Right.
But I only had like a half a beer from every stall, so it was actually really good.
And what did you have? Were they all just like lager stuff, or
Pardon?
was it crafty stuff, or
It was all craft stuff, yeah, for the most part. But I went to each one and just asked for like the most lagery like type of beer, and then one fella was like, "Well, if you want a lager, go there. This isn't this type of stall." And I was just like, yeah, and I was just like, I'm just having sampling a beer from every stall because I want to try. But if you don't have anything like kind of too lagery, something like a pale ale or something like, I was just trying to be like kind of like something lager-esque or not too strong, but obviously that offended them to a degree. And I felt bad because like, if you want something like that, go over there. And it was just kind of like, well, that poor person I'm sure is proud of their beer. Like, why are you kind of shitting on them? You know what I mean? It was like, we're not like that. I was just like, okay, well, but I did try their beer, and it was okay. It was nice, but I had some beers that I would never normally try, and I actually liked them, but I liked kind of the most basic ones.
I'm just looking up Rascals.
Beer and Food Festival. But I got this cup, Brian.
Is it plastic?
For the viewers at home, it's plastic.
That's disgusting.
But I'm reusing it.
That's good.
And look, it has the measurements: a third, a half, filled to the brim for a pint.
That is useful to know.
That's what I'm saying. And it's
Now the thing is,
it's
is it a pint? Have you measured it?
I haven't, but I will.
A lot of places serve half a litre as a pint now. It's like, that's not a pint. It's close to a pint.
I have
It's not a pint.
like it's like the American pint, basically, isn't it? They don't really do pints.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think they have smaller. But yeah, that was good fun.
I'm seeing a lot of rocket on the pictures of their pizza, and that's some bullshit.
Oh, I like
Rocket
rocket.
is bullshit.
Why is it
Rocket's
bullshit? Why?
And it doesn't belong on a pizza.
I like-
doesn't belong on a pizza.
I like I like all green veg. I do not discriminate.
All green veg.
Most days I just all green
I don't
veg.
believe
Hit me up.
I don't believe you.
Broccoli, delicious. Roasted broccoli, delicious. Brussels sprouts, delicious. Roasted Brussels sprouts, delicious. Scallions, spinach, kale, rocket, cabbage. Yeah, love an old cabbage.
Interesting. I'm going to test you
Cabbage not more
someday
white.
when
Green
you
beans,
least expect it.
peas. Yeah, I do. I try to think. Is there any? See, most of the time I just eat salads. We wouldn't really bother with meat or fish or anything. We just eat salads, because salads are delicious. I like raw veg mostly over cooked veg.
How about courgette?
Yes, cucumber. Yes. Pickles. Yes. Jalapenos. Yes. Green peppers. Yes. Yeah.
Peas?
I think I eat most vegetables. Yes. Yeah. Peas for sure. Peas are delicious.
We need somebody narrating in between for when we've just these kind of long stares.
Pauses. Hopefully,
Brian-
Aiden actually does
Brian
his job for once.
stared.
And fucking
What's the word I'm looking for? Stared.
effervescently.
Not what I was going to say.
Have you watched anything fun this week, Brian?
I watched the second season of Star Wars Visions.
Yes. Yeah. Are you enjoying it?
Yep.
Or did you enjoy
Yep.
it? Yeah.
Um,
Stronger or weaker than the first?
Depends. You know, that there's kind of, when I'm watching them right off the bat, I'm just like, am I into this one or not? And I can usually tell kind of early. And some of them even I start off kind of going, oh, I'm into this. And then at a certain point, I'm like, less so. So there's there's the kind of one level where, you know, am I engaging with this as a viewer? Is this up my street? And then there's another level where I'm like, okay, what's working, what's not working? So story, design, production, execution, those kind of things. Is it stronger? I would say it's about the same. But if you're not an anime fan, because the first season was pretty much all anime, kind of inspired.
Yeah.
If you're not an anime fan, you might prefer this season. Actually, no, if you're not an anime fan, you will definitely prefer this season. Put it that way. The stuff I liked the least, I was kind of surprised by. There's an Aardman one, which looked great in the shots I saw. Looks great. The episode looks great. I just didn't kind of connect with it. It reminded me, it just felt very dated. I was thinking about this yesterday, and I don't even know how to explain it, but maybe you'll remember. You're a little younger, though, so you mightn't have the same memory, but I hadn't thought about this in a long time, and then yesterday I just had all these kind of like flashbacks to... There was like a series of British-produced children's films. They were very much, they felt kind of like Charlie Chaplin and Chocolate Factory, or, you know, the Famous Five TV show. Have you seen those? I know you've obviously seen Willy Wonka. You've seen like the Famous Five TV show and stuff. You know the feel of those.
Railway Children.
Yeah. But there was other stuff that was kind of produced
Secret Garden.
Around the 60s and 70s. Just set in like in
animated stuff.
No, like live action kids films.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like,
there was a production company or a studio that made a ton of them, and they were all extremely British, extremely 60s, 70s Britain. There was one in particular I remember about a kid. I can't remember what he finds, but he has some sort of device that makes a force field, and he puts it on a goalpost, and he starts using it to win, win football matches because no one can score a goal on him. It was those kind of plots. Do you ever see anything like this? Yeah,
like Bernard's watch. Yeah, but it sounds like that kind of like, some kid gets a crazy power and then use it for something as boring as fucking
that kind of shit.
Football.
Yeah. But the Aardman episode reminded me of that. It was just, if it was a live action thing, people would be much less kind of accepting of it, I think. But because it's Aardman, because it's a particular style and aesthetic, people are like, "Oh, this is great." But there was like the rivals in it, the bad guys in the episode. It's a mother and daughter, and they're just kind of like caricatures, which is, works in plenty of things. But it just reminded me of like a really dated British kids thing. It didn't work for me. I'm trying to remember the name of that those films though. They made like a series of films, just kind of kids stuff.
Blinker's Spy Spotter. Bring on the first of many city titles. Blinker, David Spooner, is the son of a professor who just invented the usual top of the secret device. He's also goalie for locals kids football.
Who's it made by?
Himself invents a goal repeller.
There's a studio that made them. Does it say?
So just Google Blinker Spy in 1972, written and directed by Jack Stevens.
The Missing Note, The Flying Sorcerer, The Big Catch.
Yeah, like Brian, like these are 100% things I've
seen.
I've watched.
Yeah.
I think I'm sure even like I don't know if you remember Chico the Rainmaker. I'm sure it's like kind of that vein as well. Do you remember that?
I don't, but we've had this conversation before, and you were singing the song, and I was just like, not helping. I don't remember.
Chico the Rainmaker, Chico the Rainmaker, Chico the Rainmaker, Chico Baka Waka want to make the rain. I'm sure that's ended. That's aged awfully.
The Children's Film Foundation. That's who it was.
Well, there you go.
Children's
That
Film
screams
Foundation.
exactly what you're talking about, isn't it? Yeah.
But
To be honest, it's funny that you said that, Brian, because literally watching it last night, and like, don't get me wrong, I loved Wallace and Gromit and those things when I was a certain age. You know, they were so fun. You know, I liked maybe the first one and the second one, and that was it. I didn't like it kind of say after that, you know. And even still, they did that James Bond kind of parody of the rats, and
Flushed Away.
Wouldn't be my thing, you know. Yeah. But I remember though watching or when we were watching I'm Your Mother, the Star Wars Visions one that your episode you're talking about. I was actually saying to Emer, like, kind of like, yeah, like, despite like even the accents or anything, it's just like, yeah, no, 100% that was a British.
Yeah, it's just really kind of,
you know,
dated, you know.
Yeah, it's a little bit like kind of. It's also a little bit like too, like, I don't know, kind of like too safe, too clean, or something.
And just kind of stuck, just like nothing.
Yeah.
Just kind of like creatively stuck, you know. No risks for safe. Just
yeah.
They get by a lot on the charm of the character designs and humor and stuff, you know, but doing nothing exciting or interesting that I felt anyway, you know.
Yeah.
And that's being extra critical of it, because, you know, like,
I was gonna say I enjoyed it. It was kind of fun, but I know what you're saying.
It just reminded me of a Children's Film Foundation kind of plot, you know. And the stuff that they made
absolutely,
was just like, it's for kids. I hated it as a kid, you know, just the type of humor and everything, and it was just, it like really. I
know. Real hokey.
Yeah, and just, you know, I'm gonna say like really British, but like I love British humor at the same time, you know, like Monty Python, Fawlty Towers. So when I say really British, I mean like bad British comedy, like Carry On. I'm not saying it's bad because it's British. I'm saying it's just, you know.
No, they do. Stuff. There's a type. But here, look, and like there's stuff like that in Ireland as well. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like you talk about Kinnescully and Mrs. Brown's Boys and all that kind of stuff. That you know?
Was that on TV?
You know what I mean, though?
Something that popped up again, and I'd completely forgot.
Which buddy?
I completely forgot it existed.
Kinnescully, yeah.
It showed up somewhere recently, and I was like, "Oh, fucking hell, Dave!
Okay.
I can't believe that was
a
thing that people really
terrible representation of rural Ireland." Awful. But why? Yeah, I know. Yeah, have a character like that and something, not the whole premise. But anyways, speaking of old Irish TV shows, well, you know, if I say Irish, I'm sure it's a joint British production. Ballycus Angel.
Yep.
He's in trouble.
Hang on, who?
The priest in Ballycus Angel. He's up in court for assaulting somebody, slapping and hitting some drunk man.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, but I do. Sorry, go back to I'm Your Mother. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I totally know what you're saying. There's something very juvenile about it. Very kind of young kids TV.
Like I didn't even hate it. It was just I just kind of like it when you watch it after watching, you know, the few episodes that come before it that are so great, and then,
especially Screecher's Reach.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, we'll say now. Yeah,
let's move on to that
for our Star Wars. Yeah, well, that was great, but let's I think save it for the old.
We can talk about it a bit though. I mean, we can kind of rank.
Yeah, we kind of talk about it. Screecher's Reach. Was the one from Cartoon Saloon. It was the Irish representation, and to be fair, it was so fucking Irish. You know, it was super Irish, and even like the drawings, the characters were super Irish looking. You know, but and like maybe biased, of course. You know, but fucking it was
great.
Great. Yeah. It was great. Played on the whole Banshee stuff. Just give me strength. Like there was like Catholicism kind of nods there. Like it was a strong outing. Fucking hell. Like
turning to something dark as a way out of, you know, poverty and oppression.
Yeah.
There's a lot in there.
Fucking phenomenal.
Really great.
And beautiful looking. The character design was amazing. The Sith Lord was amazing, or the Sith Lords, I should say. Phenomenal stuff. Wowee. Apparently, I read an article, or I read the headline of an article, that this Vision Season 2 has introduced 22 new Jedis.
Cool.
You know, like collectively over the entire thing,
It's funny. I was kind of reminded of the Rings of Power series, because obviously they had a Irish voice cast for Screecher's Reach, but everybody in it sounds so Irish, like they're dialing it up, you know. And then it's just compare that to like the Hobbits in Rings of Power. It's like that is what we sound like. Yeah, like we, you know.
I know.
People were saying that they were so Irish exaggerated. It's like, but here's an Irish cast in that episode, and they sound forced. Like it's.
But I think Irish people have a tendency to kind of do that sometimes when it comes to, like, you know, acting or whatever. It's like sometimes they sound like, but maybe look, maybe we're just like it's like, yeah, maybe it's just they sound more Irish like when they're on TV.
Way more kind of, well, now, you know, kind of lilting a bit more, and oh, Kevin, you know, not Kevin, Kevin.
Yeah.
Just
I know, like I know
exactly. It up a little bit.
Yeah, but you know,
don't look back.
It is what it is. Don't look back, Sarah. You're going to be real strong when you grow up.
Yeah.
Acting. Great though. Acting. Yeah. I was probably gonna try and do a more hammy or Irish thing, but I think whatever I would say probably would be offensive, so no, I'm not going to. But great stuff.
I think that was great. The first episode was great. Do you remember the first episode?
I did think the first episode, I will say about something about the first episode. I think I would have liked it, but it might warrant a rewatch, to be fair. But I think I might have liked it if they stuck to either or art style. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think kind of either or looked great. Parts of it looked unfinished or not as good because they're doing both the different styles at the same time. Yeah. Does that make sense to you? I don't know if that's a valid point.
Well, of course it's valid. I don't agree. It's valid.
Yeah. Well,
it's valid.
Get the fuck.
You get the fuck.
Get the fuck, Brian. Get the fuck. You get the fuck.
Spy Dancer.
Who's bringing the fuck to France?
I thought Spy Dancer was
That's
gorgeous.
A deep cut.
And that actually had that kind of an unfinished style. But then when it really mattered, it was really, really detailed, really solid. That was gorgeous.
Yes.
That was absolutely beautiful.
Yes, I 100% agree.
So loose.
100% agree.
Like really, really loose. Yeah. And then in the moments where it mattered, whether it was a close-up or a piece of kind of motion or dancing, it was beautiful.
But I want to read... Excuse me. I want to read comics that look like that, you know? I like that.
There is a comic that looks like that. I'm trying to... I can see it.
Last Man Standing?
I'll never remember.
You ever heard of that book?
Last Man Standing, yeah.
It looked a little bit like that to me. A small bit.
What I will say, though, is...
Yeah, babe.
There was like 2 anime-inspired episodes. And one of them was awesome. And then the other looked very unfinished.
Okay, so the one that you're saying is awesome. I'm going to say, because if it's the one I'm thinking of, I thought that was fucking class, and I would have watched a movie about it. And it's just like, just do it. You're talking about the one with the engineer and the Jedi going to the statue heads.
Yes,
that's
that
class.
Was superb. That
Journey to the Dark Head, I think it's called.
That was just like production wise, top
Wow.
tier.
Wow, and
Incredible.
And like the Sith Lord, I think it was like Lord Bakken, I think his name was, or something. Class design. There was something very like, he had this kind of like mask with a cowl, and it was just something very like G.I. Joe about it. But I loved it.
Yep.
I loved it.
That was made by Studio
Yeah,
Mir,
brilliant.
who did Legend of Korra and a bunch of other stuff. They
Okay, yeah.
they are awesome.
That was class.
And then
I agree, because Emer came down when I was watching that, and she was like, "Oh," because we watched a few of them last night, and I was trying to catch more than this morning, you know. And then Emer came down when I was watching it, and she was just like, "Oh, is it good?" And I was just like, "With this," I was like, "I want to watch a feature-length movie of this. Like, this is fucking awesome." It's like, I love this. And then I was just saying to Emer, kind of like, "Can we just watch something that's like real, like fantasy swashbuckling or something?" I have a real itch for that lately. I just want to watch some get engrossed in some awesome fantasy thing, you know. But yeah. That was a great one, and I don't know the other one you're talking about. The other anime one, then I have not watched it,
and I'm not sure who it was.
Yeah, I've the last. I need to watch The Pit, and I need to watch Aang's Song.
Aang's Song was gorgeous as well. Really nice.
It's not like
really nice one to end
even
it
just
on.
from the synopsis. Yeah, it really, even from the synopsis, even where it's just like, oh, I think I'll watch that one with you, you know.
Yep.
But Skydancer, beautiful, great one. Great one. I loved it.
I hope they do another season of this, because
I know. Keep it coming.
and
Yeah. Did you ever watch? Oh, sorry, Brian.
no, just you know, as much as I don't know which I'd prefer. Like, I love anime. I think I liked, you know, pretty much all the episodes of the first season, the anime one. Like, even the ones that I didn't love. Thinking of it again, like, even there was ones that were really unpopular that I really liked. The one by Studio Trigger, the one with the twins, really kind of out there. It's the most anime kind of one. I
do know the one you're talking about, the two twins. Yeah. I like that one. I also like the one with the little blue character.
Yeah.
Kind of with the old Jedi Master, was it little droid or something? Yeah, that was great.
But at the same time, it's cool to see different studios, you know, put their spin on it. Be cool if we get more of either.
Yeah.
More of either would be great.
Have you watched that Oats?
Yes.
Studios. I've not watched that. Is that worth?
It's worth watching. It's hit and miss, but it's all.
Yeah.
If anything, it's like a showreel for VFX. You know. So
cool.
even if the stories aren't that interesting in a particular episode, what they're doing visually, effects wise, VFX, just kind of showing off what they can do, is cool. And then some of them are a good marriage of VFX and story. Definitely worth watching. It's like kind of a slightly more. It's live action, mostly live action. It's like a more visual focused Love, Death and Robots, and it's live action.
Okay, and is it more live action as well?
Yeah. Most of it is live action with VFX as opposed to straight up animation. There's one or two episodes that are.
Yeah. I don't know if you just said that.
I did.
But yeah. Okay, sorry. And then I think I was going to ask a different question then. But it's all from the one studio. Sorry.
Actually, I'm not. It's Neil Blomkamp who directed.
Yeah, District 9.
I think I'm not sure exactly. So it's a studio he set up, I think. But then there's probably different VFX vendors doing things within it. I don't know how it's worked internally. I don't know if it's all from the studio he set up, kind of like a Weta or Weta.
Weta, I do remember that.
I don't know if it's like that, or if it's kind of an umbrella for a bunch of different vendors. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I do really like Love, Death and Robots as well, though. That Fincher one has crossed my mind quite a bit. That's excellent.
Amazing.
Yeah, I reckon that's probably my favorite one so far. I think the last one, but the kind of the Conquistadors, I probably said that wrong.
Conquistador.
And the and the gold and stuff, like that was pretty harrowing to watch. Like I'm not going to say it was like enjoyable, but it's fucking beautiful and it's awesome and it's art, and obviously art is meant to make you feel, you know, multiple different ways. It's not always sunshine, a lot of ups and whatever, you know. But it was great. But that Fincher one, it gave me like, I just want to watch something like that.
I was thinking, like, watching that, I didn't know it was Fincher's episode at the time, and I can't remember what one was before. I think there was the one with the kind of Lovecraft monster or something beforehand. And they're doing a very similar thing in terms of like having like a captain or an authority figure taking a group of men or a troop or soldiers or whatever they are into a kind of a situation with the unknown horror or something, you know? And one of them was just generic fucking Marines up against a horde kind of thing, and then the other was the Fincher episode, which was just fucking amazing. And
just incredible.
I kind of wish all of them could be like that, but then it just kind of shows why Fincher stands out. Yeah,
well,
whatever it is that he brings.
The way he is. I did watch this week. I did watch the first episode of Succession. Have you watched that?
I have watched 2.5 seasons of it.
Oh, how do you? So you? Like
I do, yeah, because I'm. It's created by a guy. He was a writer on In the Thick of It and Veep. So
I love that show.
It's
the British In the Thick of It, is it? The political one.
And then the American version, which was kind of Veep. And
I didn't know that. Didn't one of the actors in the Thick of It get like? He went to prison.
I don't remember.
He alleged he was researching a role about child abuse, and CP was found on his computer, and he is gone.
That rings a bell.
He was the main. He was the main guy.
First
I think, in season 1.
that rings a bell.
Yeah. But I did love In the Thick of It at the time. Great TV show, and that's an example of British kind of comedy stuff that's out there epic at. I would say 90% of the time British comedy shows are superb, the best. Yeah. Black Box is excellent. Spaced is great. Yeah. Oh, there's a new season of Black Mirror coming out.
There is, yeah.
Are you fussed? You put me on the Black Mirror originally. All those Jesus, you put me on the Black Mirror.
The first season was a long time ago. I think I was.
Yeah, I was gonna say like definitely at least 12 years ago.
Close to, yeah.
Easily, man, because you told me about it. You told me about it a handful of times, and then I eventually got to watching it. And but then after a while, it blew up on Netflix. Yeah.
I think
I'd even watched it like.
I can't remember.
I think there was like two seasons at least, potentially 3 seasons before it went to Netflix.
I think what happened was
there's definitely
John Hamm was filming in London and saw it.
Yeah.
And was blown away by it and contacted Charlie Brooker, and then he appeared in like kind of a special episode of it. That kind of brought it to the attention of America, and then Netflix picked it up then.
Yeah. I haven't liked it really since Netflix has picked it up. There's been a handful of okay episodes.
There's been some great episodes too. I think some of the best episodes have been like the Netflix, like the San Junipero. That was one of the Netflix ones, and that was beautiful. A great episode.
I remember it, but I don't know if I liked it. I do remember it.
The first two series aired on Channel 4 in 2011 and then 2013, and then the Christmas special, White Christmas with John Hamm, was 2014.
John Hamm, yeah.
And then it moved to Netflix.
What year did Netflix do it?
2016.
2016? Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. You would have told me about that 5 years before it was a thing, before it was big, you know? And I would have watched it because of you, but I did like it. I remember you telling me about stuff, and particularly that first episode is wild.
I think even though the Shut Up and Dance episode, that was the Netflix episode. That one is brutal. I watched it again recently. It's so good.
I would never watch that again. I watched that
Oh,
hungover.
no.
I watched that
No.
hungover, man. Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And that was a season as well. With
But that was
a season with.
That was a Netflix season, and I think that's one of the best episodes.
Yeah, I know that. That was great. That was great.
Yeah,
get
you
me
don't
wrong,
want to
but
watch
I
it again.
Never want to watch it again.
Understandable.
No, I'm definitely not fucking hungover, and I was really hungover watching that. And because it was funny
You just want to
because
die if you were watching.
oh man, it was awful.
Because it's brutal.
Awful.
It's
awful.
absolutely brutal. First
One of
time
the
I watched it,
one of
like,
those-
not hungover, and it really was like a punch to the stomach when you realize it's just.
I was proper depressed after. Like, I was already fucking hungover, but I was proper sick to my stomach, and I felt fucking disgusting. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just horrendous. And it is grim. And you know what? I watched the episode before that, which is, I can't even remember. It was complete and utter nonsense, and I didn't like the actor for years because of it. US agent in
Yeah.
whatever his name was, something like that. Right, Purcell, isn't
yeah.
it? He was in an episode where
The
he's
video
like an
game?
American backpacking through Europe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and like the spiders, and he just screams constantly. I was hungover watching this, thinking like, this is fucking awful. I hate this because it's screaming. I definitely inherited that from my father. My father couldn't watch TV shows with screaming. I used to never understand it. It's like, what's the problem? It's just a show. Now in my adult life, if somebody's just screaming relentlessly, I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake, But yeah, he was just screaming too much. It was pissing me off. And then that fucking episode afterwards. Wow. I mean, speaking of art and how it's meant to instill different emotions in you and stuff, that one certainly fucking punches you in the gut.
Yeah.
Oh, and I probably will never watch it again. Oh, Jesus Christ! If people listen and haven't watched it, be warned.
It's rough. Yeah.
Shut up and
don't
dance.
watch it.
Yeah.
If you're feeling
Hungover.
delicate. Yeah.
Yeah. It could be potentially. It is very triggering. I think for anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. But very clever. But
Yeah, because I'd only watched it once, and I was kind of, like I said, I didn't really want to watch it for a long time again. So that was probably 6 years ago. I think it was in the first or second Netflix season, so that would have been.
I think it was the second one.
That'd be about 6 years ago.
Yeah,
so
easily,
I haven't
man.
watched it
Easily. Oh my
since
God,
then,
easily.
and I watched it again. I was kind of curious to see. I'll try not to spoil anything, but I was kind of curious to see how they constructed it in such a way that it doesn't hit you till it hits you, basically.
Yeah.
And it's kind of looking at all the little things that they did that
I know, yeah, you can't say it, but I do know what you're talking about exactly. All the different, like, from the very moment.
there's hints, but there's
the very
also
beginning.
stuff that they throw in there to
Oh,
throw you off,
Yeah,
it's really
totally.
masterfully done.
Horrendous.
Awful, terrible stuff. So I'll always.
Jesus.
I don't know how involved Brooker still is, but I really like Charlie Brooker. He's hilarious.
No, I do. I know you do. You've quoted him endlessly to me over the years. And I always remember, and sometimes I say to people like, "You'll never work it." What is
You're
it?
fired. You're fired from London.
Fired. Yeah. You'll
How
never work in
dare
this town
you.
again. Yeah. That's it. How dare you?
Actually,
How dare you? Yeah. Good stuff. Charlie Brooker's great. He's married, or was at least.
I think he's still married to her.
He was married
Connie
to Connie. Yeah.
so.
Former Blue Peter presenter. Did you really want the Blue Peter badge when you were younger?
Didn't really watch it. We
Didn't
didn't
watch it,
really
okay.
have those channels. By the time we had those channels, I'd kind of aged out of Blue Peter, so I was aware of it.
Blue
but,
Peter.
but no.
I remember. It's like you'd watch kind of even sometimes Irish TV, and I always felt like, geez, the people that are on these things. Like I always felt like I was like not a class that would be on TV. That kind of way. And I certainly felt like a Blue Peter badge is far beyond my reach as a Irish person from a certain background. But I would yeah, kind of. I often thought like kind of like I went on to Google or eBay and I wondered like kind of do people sell them? People do sell them, but I would never buy a Blue Peter badge. But I do remember them doing the search for Harry Potter though.
Did they?
Yeah, they were. They had. I look kind of. I hope so, unless it's a complete phantom memory. But yeah, they had kind of. They had a kind of.
They were involved in the actual like.
They covered.
Oh,
they covered.
okay.
They covered the auditions process.
Wow.
Kind of maybe if not in one episode, they could have done it over a few episodes. But I really liked it. One of the guys got a dog on the show, and it was all about him getting his dog, and he got a collie dog and all that kind of stuff, and then him training it and doing different things. And it was just like it was very nice. How would you say? It had a nice heart to show. It came from a good place, for sure. It's done now though, because
there's no kids.
Don't give a fuck.
There's no kids.
There's no kids anymore.
They're all grown up.
They're all grown up. Oh, they're all grown up. They just they're more interested in their phones and their hair and their whatnots.
Pokemon.
Well, I don't know. I suppose here. Look, some kids definitely are not like you do see some kids around, and it's like kind of they have better clothes and haircuts and more fashion things than me, and it's just like, oh, you're a bit too young to be kind of caring about that so much. Let kids be kids. Bring back Saturday morning cartoons. Would you watch? I was saying this to Emer the other day. Actually, Brian, you can agree or disagree. I was saying that I believe the 90s. I think like your generation and my generation, to a degree, in around that time, the 90s. I think that was the pinnacle of the best childhood you could have. In terms of the toys, the properties, the cartoons,
but were
cereal,
kids
all that kind of stuff.
Before that happier? Because they didn't know what they didn't have.
No, well, but my point is though, just as a kid and what kids love, it's like that was definitely like a great time to be a kid.
It seems like it was all dialed up for sure. That like kids like this, then let's give it to them. Cartoons, toys, like cereal, sugar.
Yeah, like the cartoons. Yeah.
Happy Meals.
And like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure kids of previous generations like had their own fun and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just saying, like in the 90s, I genuinely think though it was like the pinnacle of all of that, the accumulation of all of that kind of stuff, But now, kind of like kids don't really have.
I saw a picture
and stuff,
a week or two ago of McDonald's back in like the late 80s. Early 90s.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it used to look like?
In Ireland or America? I do.
I'm not even sure what the picture was,
like, yeah.
but I know for certain that the one in the city centre here looked exactly the same. It was like a fucking theme park, Whereas you look at it now, it's got like self-service menus, and it's all very kind of bland, plain, sterile looking. Whereas at the time, you used to have like fucking mushroom. Toadstool kind of.
I was going to say anthropomorphic mushrooms,
but like it had, it was all themed. Like the stools that you sit on were like mushrooms, toadstools, kind of stuff, and it was like
or burgers or whatever,
like trees and shit. It was wild. It was, it was very much for kids.
I do remember
it wasn't a place that. It was adults took kids there. It wasn't. Whereas now it's, I know people who go there regularly for their lunch. That blows my mind.
Yeah, which I don't go there at all, really, to be honest.
It blows my mind that people are like, oh, I need lunch, I'm going to go to McDonald's. It's like, what?
Yeah. I would only ever see it as sheer convenience food. Like, kind of somewhere, I want something quick and easy and cheap, and that's fine.
It just doesn't occur to me to go there, It's, in my head,
I'm talking about like an airport or something.
Airport, or if I'm on the road to Dublin or something, somebody's driving and they're like, we'll stop here. I was like, sure, get a milkshake. But like, that's the only time.
I agree, but I have now.
If I'm in the city, I would never say, "Oh, yeah, I'm stuck. I'll go there." It's like I'll find something else.
I know, yeah, for sure. I know what you're saying. I'd sooner grab a slice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and like there's so many, or a Subway even back in the day. But I don't go to Subway at all anymore. But
Allegedly.
torpedoes. 1 second. But yeah, you're right though. McDonald's back in the day, different beast. Different beast. We only ever went now, to be honest, when we visited family in Limerick City, or the occasionally once or twice in Galway. We didn't have one for a long time in my hometown. But and then when it kind of did come out, I kind of felt like I was too old for it, as you said. It was more of a kids thing, wasn't it? I do remember though the first time getting a Happy Meal, and no, I was going to say I do remember the first time getting a Happy Meal and then realizing like this is enough food for me, Mom, Dad, what's going on? You know. Good Bug, good girl. Come here, Boogie. Come here, oh big stretch. Good girl. Oh. But you're right. I do remember all the anthropomorphic mushrooms and the kind of rabbit characters, and you know. But there's none of that now anymore. It's just a place where teenage kids hang out
and adults. Because all those adults who went there for Happy Meals in the 80s are now in their 40s.
This is true, and you're really. I don't know about you, but as somebody who is in their mid 30s, down in the middle, 35. What's up to my 35-year-old listeners? You know what I'm talking about. 35, am I right? You really are seeing. I think you're seeing now more than ever the knock-on effect of people from our generation growing up now, having disposable income, being more settled in life, and kind of. You're seeing a resurgence of certain things. Things are coming back, you know? Yes, Brian, that's terrifying.
That?
And
I remember them looking like that.
Yes, 100%.
I remember the 100%. One
I do.
On Winthrop Street in Cork looking like that.
I never really had many Happy Meals toys, though.
No.
Unless we got them in a car boot sale or...
Do you remember, I think it was Burger King, it could have been McDonald's, but Burger King possibly. They had like the something kids gang or something. And they all looked like superheroes. Like it looked like a Saturday morning cartoon, but they were just like regular kids who ate in, I think it was Burger King. But I remember, you know, not even knowing what a Burger King was, but because it was a cartoon that looked like a, you know, superhero cartoon.
Interesting.
I was like, what is that?
I don't remember that, but I'm seeing a picture of it now, and it looks like no, that just looks like Recess. Burger King Kids Club.
See the guy with the baseball cap and the visor? God, he was so cool. The dog with the goggles.
He's pretty cool. Yeah, that dog has a helmet and goggles on. Look at how diverse and inclusive that bunch of people are.
That's great. Kid in the wheelchair.
See, we grew up with that, and then everything just went white for a while.
We think this way,
and now
apparently it's a bad thing. An Asian kid with a trumpet. What an age!
What a time to be alive.
Jesus Christ! If Burger King were to try to do that, they would catch so much bullshit for it, which is fucking ridiculous.
That's what I always say to people. It's just kind of like
Asian kid with a trumpet.
Yeah.
If they did that today, they would get fucking people would be burning burgers in the streets. You know, fucking insane.
Oh yeah, they'd be boycotting them. But that's bad. I've said that before. Like kind of, it's just like no, don't get me wrong. Of course, there was as many injustices, if not more, back in the day, and all that kind of stuff. Like, but I do feel like I feel like, you know, like. Kind of like a lot of demographics were acknowledged in kind of like cartoons and all that kind of stuff, you know, and they had different characters of all backgrounds and races and, you know, genders and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like, yeah, as you're saying, like if something could innocently come out now, people are going to accuse them of pandering.
Yep.
You know, which is dumb. So dumb. It is dumb. Yeah, people like, you know, people be dumb, Brian. What do we say? The usual dorks. The usual dorks ruin everything. Speaking of fandoms and usual dorks and all that jazz, Dan, what's the guy's name? Daniel Richterman. He's a guy who's coming out with all. He's a guy who's all about the reliable sources for leaks.
Daniel or PK. I don't know his name. That's who you're on about? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. And he's the guy who has come out this week with some Marvel news, that allegedly Adam Driver has been approached about the role of Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards in an upcoming Marvel Fantastic Four project. Margot Robbie has been...
Margot.
Margot. I said Margot the other day. Then I was like, is that right? Margot Robbie has been
Maggie
approached
Robot.
to play Sue
Let's just
Storm,
call her Maggie Robot.
The Invisible Maggie Robot. Atom Driver.
Atom Driver.
Paul... Well, okay. Margot Robbie's been approached to play Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. Paul Mescal has been approached to play Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. And in a shocking turn of events, Mila Kunis has been approached to play the ever-loving, blue-eyed thing, Mr. Ben Grimm.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it at all. I think she was seen out for lunch with the director, and I think people just want to cause outrage and uproar and spread that kind of shite. And if they do,
I think it was TMZ were the first to report it. So yeah,
don't care. Just give me a good Fantastic Four movie. And I love the thing. He's a personal favorite of mine. I always say it. I'll always have a soft spot for Fantastic Four. At a stage, they were the only comic books I could read, and I quite liked it. But I remember years ago going back and reading like Civil War or something, and oh god, man, some of that stuff back in the day was just horrendous. This was just really calm, especially because like I really like sometimes just the kind of the whole like all these men in a room that are uber intelligent, all like kind of like outsmarting each other like for like, you know, different solutions and whatever, you know. But and it's really fucking like obnoxious. But there's a scene where like Reed Richards and Sue Storm obviously have differences when it comes to Civil War. And she ends up kind of like sleeping with him that night, and then waking up the next morning and leaving him a note behind, you know. But it's just like, I just wanted to leave you. I can't be with someone who doesn't agree with this and this. But I wanted to have just one more night of passionate love. Give you one more night of passionate love. You're just like, this is cringe. Comics are awful, you know. And your comics are awful, man. Yeah. That's why I don't read a lot of Marvel.
Yeah, I even saw.
Very particular about what I read from Marvel.
Yeah, I just, you know, people posting the odd kind of panel here and there from stuff, and they just make comics look lame. A lot of comics are lame. I love comics.
Oh man, for sure. So hey, but there's so much comics out there, you know. But there is a lot of good. There's a lot of what they call it, great stuff from Boom, from Image, from Dark Horse. Like, there's a lot of good. But like, unfortunately, like kind of Marvel produces so many books. I don't know how many X-Men titles there are at the moment. It's fucking insane. But they produce so many books. It's like there's more stinkers than
I've kind of. But I remember, you know, it was so long ago now. It was what. Can't even remember when. It's probably like 2008, 2009, and I started buying X-Men comics again. I was like, oh, these are really good. You know, it's good again. It's been so long since I read it. This is really good. But I felt like it had been the bones of 20 years since I read them, and now I haven't read them, you know, since that time. And I've dipped back in to see what's going on in the stories, and it's just you can't keep a storyline going that long. Every single character has like gone from, they've gone full circle.
Good to bad.
They're not even a
dead alive.
Like they've dead alive, total villain, back to good guy, back to villain, hero. Just run a circle, but just no. It just needs to end, or it needs to not be set in the same universe, you know. It's like here's the story with these characters again. Here's another writer doing something with these characters. just get rid of the continuity. You know,
Dude, that's exactly what I was going to say. Get rid of the continuity. Make them just like I'm not saying like one shot comics because like but one like graphic novels or whatever.
A writer could do it for 10 years, but it doesn't have to be connected to any previous version. Just let them take the characters, write them without being beholden to what's kind of come before or insisting that it's a different version of the same character. It's been too long.
I think one of the things that has ruined comics, particularly Marvel and DC, but obviously, both of them, they're both guilty of it. It's just this multiverse shite. It's just like just do separate stories. I was in Sub-City during the week. Shout out to Sean. I was chatting away to Sean. But I was actually talking to Sean and saying I wouldn't mind. I was like, I have a shame pile that I have to get through. But once I finished and I kind of like, I have my stuff sorted and unpacked better, I wouldn't actually mind getting back into X-Men or something. I really miss X-Men, but I want to be back in Xavier's Institute, where you have a set team and they have like, they're finding mutants, they're fighting bad guys, simple stuff. But now they're on the planet of Krakoa. They've colonized Mars. I think it's a moon or a planet. Yeah, Krakoa used to be an island. Used to be an island, and then you had Genosha was Magneto's island originally, I think, and then it was Krakoa was another one, but now it's a planet. And like only mutants can go through this like kind of wormhole type of thing to get there, and all that kind of stuff. It's very strange, but he recommended X-Men Messiah Complex is a good standalone kind of like you can pick it up, read it.
That's
and it's
the
good,
one I was talking about. Yeah,
and you said that's
no, the one that when I was reading years ago, that was good. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Messiah Complex. Yeah, he said that's good. But he said, he showed me a book the other day. I think I have a picture on my phone. I'll send it to you later. But he showed me an X-Men title the other day. And he's like, this is kind of the best place to start now with X-Men, And I kind of like, it's a good, and it was a big old book, But he was like, it's a good place to start. And apparently like I do hear like really positive things from the current X-Men stuff. But he also showed me a book where it's like, it collects all the issue ones of all the different, kind of X-Men stories that are going on at the moment. So you could have like X-Men, X-Force, Marauders, whatever, and it's all the issue ones in one book. So you can kind of read them all and then kind of like from that decide, okay, well I like this one, so I'm going to get the next one, that kind of way, which I think is a neat idea. But yeah, I would love to go back to X-Men, but pare it back, I want to see the kind of just...
Like you said, that classic setup of a team working out of a school...
Fighting against intolerance. Like, you could do so much now more than ever, and bring new X-Men into it. Bring like LGBTQ, bring trans, bring non-binary. Like, you can like.
I wonder, is that something that
it's perfect for it.
Have we not seen it yet because they've just got so much other stuff to get through first, or is there a conversation currently happening in writers' rooms at Marvel about, okay, well, these characters can potentially be more relevant than ever? Well,
we're not reading it, so maybe we're talking about stuff that we know nothing
about.
I
mean, in terms of when we see them next in the cinema, in film,
in the cinema, correct?
Is that a conversation they're having? Because racial tensions are kind of higher than they've been in decades. Homophobia, transphobia.
Higher than
intolerance
for sure.
is like just as we've been saying is higher in a lot of ways, and that's what
for sure.
That's what the characters have always kind of been about
fighting against.
Are they saying, okay, well, there's an opportunity here to really connect with audiences if we integrate? I don't see how they make X-Men today without it being called woke,
without doing it,
but without people just going like, why are X-Men woke now? That's a conversation I literally had in college a couple of years ago. Somebody was complaining about like Marvel films being woke. It's like, have you read comics? Have you like what have are you read
about? My God, man! Like if I'm being like, I might have said in the podcast before, I'm comfortable to say it, but like. As a young kid and a preteen and a teenager, but there was a certain period in my life, 5th, 6th class, maybe 1st or 2nd year, all that kind of jazz. Fucking X-Men gave me so much like hope to agree. And like, I know my brother listens, he's probably thinks it's gas to say it, like, but like, man, like I really felt like kind of like, geez, like kind of like if there's a place in the world for them, there's a place in the world for me, you know, the kind of way. Like, and I'd love to have been in the Xavier Institute for X-Men and all that kind of stuff, like, because like it was just like, these people are accepting, these people are open-minded, these people are whatever, you know what I mean though. Like, but like as a young kid, that stuff was important to me, and I was just a bloody white male from rural Ireland, you know what I mean? Like,
marginalized.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, exactly. Like, you know, and I had a normal childhood, like, but yeah, it's just kind of like the X-Men, like, kind of like, God, there was a period in my life where they really just meant so much to me. It was just about that inclusivity and like, you know, like the fighting against intolerance and all that kind of stuff. And I used to imagine being in the X-Men school for gifted mutants or children, whatever it was. But I used to imagine that stuff and like dream about it, you know. But
it's
but
the
like
same
now,
reason
like
Harry Potter connected with people, because like you said, it doesn't matter what your childhood is. There's an age you go through where you just want to be discovered and told you're special and you're part of something bigger. Like, and like that's the, like Hogwarts is the Xavier Institute.
X-Men. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
That's something that's something I thought First Class was going to really lean into, but it didn't in the end. But I was shocked. I thought that it was going to, okay, well, you know, Harry Potter's over here with, you know, kids with powers in a school fighting other people with powers. I mean, like, Voldemort is essentially Magneto, what he's about, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what angle they're going to take with it. Will they lean? I think
you said, like,
they should lean into that. It would be kind of interesting to.
Dude, they have to lean into it. Like if the X-Men came out today, it would be about it. You know what I mean? Like, but the X-Men was, when it came out originally, it was about kind of like, oh, these people are different, and it was about kind of like speaking about intolerance and, you know, these guys fighting it. Like, it was just a different kind of a milder version of it because it came out in the 60s, you know. But I think the X-Men came out in the 60s, right?
Late 60s.
60s. Yeah, late 60s, I think. Yeah, but like kind of like, and if it came out in the 90s, it would have been like, you know, yourself. There would have been like different kind of like, they would have had the grungy kid. They would have had this, you know, all that kind of stuff. So like, if they do it now, like, it should have all of the different, like, I don't care if they did it and Gambit's one of my favorite X-Men, but if Gambit was gay or whatever.
You can't
who cares?
It's just like, not a bisexual.
I'd say he's bisexual for sure. Yeah.
He was like Pepe Le Pew. You know? He was like the Viper in Game of Thrones. Yes, yeah.
100%. Like, which I thought was my favorite character in Game of Thrones. He's class. That's when I actually got pissed off.
Daddy,
Game of Thrones,
Daddy Pedro.
It. But Daddy Pedro, yeah. But no, but it can't be like, and he should be, man. You know?
Yeah, completely.
He should be. Yeah.
He's a Lothario. He's
a pure and utter, like, how would you say, a smoother kind of.
The fact that, you know, he's so into Rogue, who could kill him, and he's like, fuck it. You know?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That guy doesn't care.
Doesn't give a fuck.
That guy. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and like, even like, you know, Nightcrawler, I know he was played by Alan Cummings in the X-Men 2, you know, but that could be a thing, you know. He went to the church, as many you know, people have done in the past, to escape their, you know, feelings, whether they were, you know, homosexual or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so like, there's lots of ways you could play into it, like, kind of like, and make these characters more interesting without taking away from them, you know? For sure. Yeah, X-Men is primed for now more than ever, but Marvel is sleeping on it. Do you think they're afraid?
I kind of feel like they don't know maybe what to do with it.
Okay.
Where is the place for it in the MCU with what the MCU has established so far, you know? How do you do all of that and make, you know, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying they'd almost be better off with the thing is, was going to say they'd almost be better off having it be separate to the MCU.
Separate.
Have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the kind of Avengers Cinematic Universe, and then have the X-Men Cinematic Universe. But the
X-Men,
whole point
yeah.
is the whole appeal all this time has been
It's to see them all
seeing
together.
and seeing the same universe.
Yeah.
So I do think they
Yeah.
have to do that, but yeah, you kind of wonder. There's so many different ways. There's so many. Like again, they could kind of play up the school aspect. They could have the first team that come in just be, teenagers, and then we could see them have that play out with them as kids, and then come back. Like you could do like a series of trilogies. Then that way, we could see Scott and Jean as kids. And then, the middle or the final trilogy with that main team could be Dark Phoenix, but we'd have seen them as kids to that thing,
I was just going to ask, do you really want to see a Dark Phoenix for
I want to
third
see
time?
the version with the space pirates and the space bird people, the space galactic opera with the Starjammers and the Shi'ar. I want to
I
see
was going
that.
to say Starjammers. Space Jammers or Starjammers?
Starjammers, I think,
was it?
I want to see that version.
Cyclops
I know
is
they've
daddy.
done it. I know they've tried it.
Yeah.
How many times now? Twice?
Twice at least, anyways. They did it with Fran.
Famke.
What's her name? Jensen. What is it?
Famke Janssen.
Famke Janssen. Yes. Great, Jean.
Yeah.
Great. Like I still love the casting of that original movie. Like
it was decent.
Well, it was brilliant. It was really good when you think about it. Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart,
That
Halle
Australian
Berry,
guy.
the guy who plays Skyscraper. That Hugh Jackman, that Australian guy. I can't think of the poor guy who played Cyclops, but he was a great Cyclops.
James Marsden. He was great.
Yeah, I like James Marsden. He is great stuff. But yeah, like they could have, they were all a great team, great actors and everything like that. But I really didn't kind of the later incarnation of the X-Men and stuff. It was lost on me.
How do you mean?
Sansa
Okay, yeah.
and
It
just I didn't connect with it. It felt very. It felt like kind of like all of a sudden it's just like, okay, so like
I
Jean
only
and Scott are
saw
here,
as
like,
far as Days of Future Past, and then what did they do after that? They did
Age of Apocalypse. Olivia Munn was, and they did Rise of the Phoenix
Apocalypse
or
and
something,
Dark
right?
Phoenix.
They did,
Was that what it's called? Yeah, I didn't see those two.
Yeah, I
Didn't even
think
see
so.
them. Didn't bother with them.
Yeah. Olivia Munn was a great Psylocke. For sure. But then again, just missed opportunities. So many missed opportunities. And I don't know how many times they can hit fucking. And I like, what do you call him? I like him as well. Michael Fassbender was a great Magneto. Missed opportunity. The guy playing Xavier. McAvoy.
He was great.
I don't ever. A great actor, but I don't know if he was ever like kind of, if ever felt he was a pro before Xavier to a degree, or else at least the version that they were showing, you know what I mean? Like it's okay to have him in a wheelchair and in a suit and leading the team. Like why not? But Jesus, I could if I had to listen to them. Fucking, I feel a great swell of pity for any fool who comes to this school looking for trouble. Fucking to Magneto every time. And then next film, Magneto's at school. Bam, 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 bam. It was just like, okay, like it's been drilled into me at this stage. I feel a great swell of pity. Crazy mad. Absolutely mad. But bring back the X-Men. I'd love to get reading the X-Men again. I was in Forbidden Planet and they did do a relaunch, but it was only like a small story of the X-Men years and years ago. I'll have to show you. I'll find it. I want to say Stuart Immonen. I can't pronounce their name, but you know who I'm talking about. I think they might have done like some covers or something, or it could have even done.
He was doing interiors because I was
back.
buying that. I can't remember what plot line that was, but I was buying that.
But was that the one, Brian, where they went back to basics? They went back to the yellow and blue costumes and everything.
That was the one where
and the beautiful
Beast
painted covers
brings the X-Men from the 60s into the present, and there's two versions. So there's like a young version of that original
Beast.
team and stuff, and Jean Grey. That was that one. I only bought that as long as Immonen was drawing it, because he's awesome, and I only buy them for artwork first, story second.
Fair.
He's
fair.
so good.
I know. If there's a comic company, or there's a guy who sells comic art for. He's what would you? There's an art agent who sells work on behalf of a load of comic book artists I love. Felix Comic Art, I think it's called. You know what I'm talking about. And I have the newsletter and all that kind of stuff, and it's torturous. But he announced recently that they were going to sell a bunch of Stewart stuff.
You see,
so.
I follow the Instagram account, and then I don't torture myself by getting the emails, because it wouldn't have been tempting because I'm too poor.
Outrageous. Well, this is
Just
true.
not in
Well, look, there's some I'd love to get, but trust me, they're not from the likes of Stewart and stuff. You know, to be much smaller stuff. But I was going to say, I saw. They never obviously, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Jim Lee, X-Men 91, everything's great. You know, he's the best of the best. And they did those big, massive wraparound covers and stuff. Saw them in Subsidy for like 30 quid. One of them, and it was hard to put it down. Had to walk away. I don't need that stuff. Oh my God,
you should have
love
bought
it.
it.
Maybe I'll get it for you for your birthday.
You should have bought it for yourself.
No, Brian.
Why not? You deserve nice things.
Oh yeah, because
you do.
Don't.
It's not your fault.
Well, you know what? It's not my fault. I would love to buy myself. Well, I will buy myself something nice, right? I will.
As a treat.
I'm going to kind of work up to it and say
a little treat as a treat.
Especially because I lost the Daredevil #1. I was never going to get that.
Yeah. And it had holes in it. You didn't even want it anyway.
It had holes in it. Who wants comic books?
Who wants
holes? Who wants holes? Not me. I like to plug up any holes I see.
You do?
I do. But I was going to say there was if I find it, I still love the that old classic X-Men. You know, like even because we grew up with the '90s stuff, but I even like the '60s version of the X-Men with Iceman and Angel and all that kind of stuff. I think that looks great. Oh, X-Men '97, that's going to be coming out soon, right?
I'm not sure if it's this year. If it's this year, it's later this year. I don't think it's anytime soon.
But you have articulated your disdain for the concept, and you're not vibing.
I'm
on
not
it.
as much as I love.
I'll
X-Men,
definitely watch it.
I was not a fan of that cartoon.
I love the cartoon, but it's really shit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just funny that at that age I was watching it, kind of going, "This isn't very good." I want
that's
to like
nuts.
it.
You're always an animation snob, huh?
It's funny.
It is funny. But I look, that was 100% my introduction into X-Men.
Right.
So
no, I think I was.
I do.
I think my first might have been the arcade game. Even no, my first probably would have been the cards, Top Trumps, maybe.
No, mine was definitely all the cartoons for. I say most of them.
The arcade game was definitely part of it because I was in primary school. You know what game I'm on about, right? The cabinet with 6 players.
Of course. Yeah.
And that had a kind of a cool animated intro at the start. Have you seen that? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I have. Here, look, kind of. How long are we friends, Brian? You don't think we talked about?
Have we talked about this? I don't think we have. Have we talked about this deeply formative thing?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Maybe.
I think that was kind of my first version anyway. And then I would have seen there's the intro with the actual like arcade cabinet graphics. But then they also, some Japanese studio animated a cartoon intro based on those designs, and I would have seen that as well somewhere. And that's what that was for me. Then that was like the potential of the cartoon. So then by the time I actually saw the cartoon, I was like, this doesn't look as good as the Japanese animated intro I've seen. The song is good. I'll give it that.
That was rip off from some Hungarian TV show or something, wasn't it? Police
No,
show.
it's a rip off of a Whitney Houston song, I think.
Okay, I thought I heard some TV or some kind of famous theme tune ripped off some Hungarian police show. And Norby didn't even tell me that was something I read.
Okay. Hang on now. I'm going to look up Whitney Houston X-Men first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm Your Baby Tonight. Let's both have a little listen to it now. I'll send you a link to it.
Fire away.
You can. I don't know if this was actually that it's a ripoff, or is it just that it sounds very like it, but it sounds very like it. Will I send you a link, or can you find it?
Let me just see. What did you say it was
I'm
called?
Your Baby Tonight. Oh my god, it's so X-Men. Gonna have to get Aiden to play a bit of it in the background while, because otherwise this is gonna be a lot of dead air.
Okay.
Can you hear it?
Oh my god, okay. So, holy shit, Brian, right? I put on a European version and it did not work. I put on the Whitney Houston I'm Your Baby Tonight official video and sure away. Because I was just
You're
like, I'm not hearing it too much. I hear it runs out, but like, yeah. Oh my god.
It's extremely.
Oh god, yeah. It literally sounds like X-Men.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. But I know I think they got sued for
Okay, so which came out though? Vukan Georgi or I'm Your Baby Tonight? Because maybe they ripped off Whitney and then X-Men ripped that off, or I'm Your Baby Tonight came out in 1990. Interesting.
Oh, it's very. Have you? I've the one I have here is 1984 and it's the opening credits and it's very like.
Yeah.
So yeah, so. I hear and the Hungarian fellow was going after fucking X-Men. He should have gone after Whitney Houston.
Should have. Marvel being sued over the 1992 X-Men theme due to similarities with the theme tune of some Hungarian cop show. Wow. This is even closer than Whitney Houston's I'm Your Baby Tonight. Yeah. So they didn't even get that. They stole that too.
I saw two musicians playing it online with like violins and all that kind of stuff. They were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I cannot think of the name, but yeah, I'm eagerly awaiting Mila Kunis is the thing. Can't wait. Go bringing it all back. Realistically, Jason Segel has been attached to the thing for donkeys at this stage. His name has been floating around there for ages, but I just don't think he has the gravitas anymore.
I don't think he's got the clout.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, yeah,
he's.
Would you be angry they brought back Michael Chiklis?
Yes. Understatement.
Fuming. Furious.
I would be outraged.
Yeah. I'd rather Mila Kunis.
I would rather Mila Kunis, yeah.
Yeah, but God bless her. Like she could potentially be getting unwarranted hate because of this like thing going around. But she might be involved in it if she was having dinner with the director. But I don't know. Hollywood types, you know.
But she said she's not involved. But she said she knows who is. So.
And she said Jason Segel?
No, she didn't say anybody. She's keeping stum.
Fair, understandably. Antonio Banderas has been approached to do Galactus. Somebody said that they can't picture him being a Galactus, but like they could cover up his face, like, or would he be under the mask? Because it was like, no, like Galactus's face is fully visible, and sure, Antonio Banderas could be Galactus. Who would you like to see play Ben Grimm then?
I don't know.
The Rock.
No.
He's already half Rock, anyways.
No, I wouldn't like that.
You love The Rock. They could just go. I suppose he's meant to be Adam Driver's best friend. So does he have to be in around the age?
It's hard to think of who'd be good or appropriate when you don't know what they're
what they're going to do. Yeah.
Because
60s.
Will it be 60s? Do we think?
That was the rumor for years, wasn't it? They were going to do a 60s.
Yeah, I think that's what the guy who did Ant-Man, he wanted to crack at it, and he wanted to do something 60s set, I think. That's what I heard.
That would have been great, though.
But not him.
No.
He's fine, but he's not the dude for the job, I don't think. Put it that way.
Are they doing a Street Fighter anime or a new Street Fighter movie reboot?
A film, apparently, yeah.
Yeah, it was some Australian director who did a horror movie, but I've not seen it.
Is the director attached already?
Yeah. I have it somewhere. I'll send it to you.
That's gonna suck. When I heard originally that, like I just heard Legendary were behind it, and I was like, if they took like a John Wick approach, that could work in terms of like making a world believable that this kind of underworld exists, and as silly as it is, it can exist in our world. I'd buy that. But just the way the Mortal Kombat one turned out recently, just no.
Yeah.
Because you could make a great Street Fighter film. Just focus on.
They could, of course, they could.
But they won't.
Well, like
Tom Hardy.
God bless poor Tom. He's going to be.
He seems happy out making Venom.
Venom.
Who
Why?
knows? But he seems happy.
It is hilarious, isn't it? Doing his third Venom movie. Somebody has put Dominic Purcell. I don't think he's going to do it.
Jeez,
Daniel Craig, Terry Crews.
It blows my mind. Anytime I see a kind of a fan cast thread, and it makes me really grateful that there's casting directors out there who are really good at their job.
Yeah, 100%.
Dominic
Sometimes
Purcell.
people are just.
Are you like the dude from Prison Break?
Yeah, he's B movie.
He's fucking Z-list. Like, some people are like, "Oh man, that person would be so perfect." It's like, I'm so glad you don't cast shit, because that's one of the worst ideas.
Yeah, exactly. I think David Harbour, sure, he's gone. If I was to have somebody potentially, Lee Stryver, why not?
Again, you need somebody who's kind of coming off a bit of not necessarily a hot streak, but somebody's got some momentum. And he was already
Anthony Starr,
Sabretooth.
Yeah, but come on, Ryan Reynolds was also Deadpool in that movie,
and
dude.
He's still Deadpool.
No, you're right. Yeah, Brian, you're right there. Yeah, got me there.
Who indeed?
Well, yeah, Anthony Starr, the Boys, Homelander.
It's too problematic.
Too problematic. Okay.
Carl Urban. We're just going to name cast members from The Boys now. Jack Quaid.
Yeah, I know. But what's the man's name? Hang on. What's the? They could easily do. I can't think of his name. Denzel Washington's son. But he'd probably be better to have something where you could see his face all the time, because he's a very handsome man.
John David. That's his name.
Who's John David?
Washington. that his name?
Oh, John David
Is
Washington
that
is
his
his
name?
name.
I think is his name. Something like
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
that. And he's worked with Adam Driver
Um,
before.
Yeah, he has one. Yeah, and the Black Klansman, which is a phenomenal movie. I certainly do not think whoever's playing Ben Grimm needs to be white whatsoever. And I think it could be good to kind of diversify it. You know, for sure.
I've seen a lot of people saying
I
he
did have
has
it-
to be Jewish. And it's like, the character can be Jewish. A non-Jewish person can play him. You know.
Yeah,
I've
for
heard it's
sure.
essential to his character.
Nancy Street. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Where was I? I haven't read the thing. Well, I did read a thing run recently, but I can't even remember if I felt he was particularly Jewish in it. But people be like that, Brian. Oh, do you know who'd be
Mark
good?
Ruffalo.
Actually, no, fuck. He's in a yeah, no, Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo
He's
would
in a-
actually be great.
He's in a bloody
That's the thing.
yeah, or Umbaku.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know.
It's a good actor.
Yeah, well, you know, we're not going to solve this casting
Because we don't get paid
but
to.
If anybody has,
We
we don't get paid to. Well, it's not my job.
I'd be trying harder if I was getting paid. You know.
Yeah, I get paid for doing something different. So fuck it.
Why would you put yourself?
I'm not going to put myself
no,
out.
we're
there.
not getting paid. Not getting paid.
Not to tell. I'm not getting paid. Not today, anyways. What's your plans for the evening? I'm going to skedaddle and grab myself a beer with my beautiful girlfriend and my wee dog.
Going to go do
We're gonna-
yoga.
Oh, you're doing your hot
I'm gonna try
yoga
go
tonight.
every day. Make the most.
Okay, Brian,
of
fair
the
play to you,
special
buddy.
offer, because I won't be going as often once the special offer is up, because it's very expensive.
Yeah, and like somebody said, like somebody in their office was just like, "Oh yeah, let's do this," and sure, no one's going to go every day. Little did they know.
Little did they know that I'm very
Little
poor.
did they know. Those losers.
They
Those
didn't know
idiots.
that there's lots of
But,
poor losers out there.
Yeah, especially now. Holy moly. Things cost money.
Things be costing money.
B. I love you.
Aw. I like you too.